I'm going to kind of just walk around the shop a little bit, give you a little tour just of the auto body shop if you haven't seen this side yet, show you how to light the torch. And again, just remember this week we're going to have that auto body tool quiz on Wednesday, and we'll be reviewing for that tomorrow. So here, we're gonna head out here. So yeah, we got the classroom here. Actually, grab. There's two pairs in the bottom. One of those. Grab whichever one you want. They moved the electronics classroom in here, so all of the electronic stuff is over there. But all right. So this is primarily what we start with this class. We're going to start with the tanks here. Acetylene is the reddish tank, I guess, with the white on there, and then the green tank is the oxygen. So we'll light those up here in a second. You're using the face shields. That's actually going to be one of the questions on the quiz on Wednesday. A welding helmet. That's one of them. I'm not sure. You guys have been doing some MIG welding on the other side. He showed you that's these booths here. We mainly do that over here, actually. He just wheeled one of the machines over there. Actually, it was this one. This one's the one he put onto the other side. This is a welding station here. The tanks are there. You want about 5-6 feet of space for the lines. You don't want to get too close. We do have the spray booth over here, which we use towards the end of the semester, and also Auto Body 2 uses this. They work on hoods and bigger parts of the car. So that's our nice big spray booth. I mean, it's big enough to pull a car in there, which we've done. Some of our finishing tables, spray guns, spray cans. That's our finishing area over there. But yeah, that's the booth. The alignment rack, we do have an alignment rack, but like I said, all the electronic stuff was moved in here because they had to move some classrooms around. So that's kind of what all that stuff is. Some of these machines here, this is where we cut our metal. Some of these machines and presses, you guys are going to be practicing on some band iron that come in. This is the machine right here that we cut that on. Over here, we have grinders that we use here to kind of clean our parts. This is for cutting sheet metal right here, this machine. It's like a big press. You open it, put your sheet metal in there, press it down, and it'll cut it. You can see a bunch of pieces there on the ground. These tools here we use for the fender project, which I don't know if we'll have time to get to that with this way things are, but that is for bending material. I'm sorry, that's for folding material at like an angle. And this one is for bending it or curving it with those rollers that you're seeing right there. So we use this machine, that one, pretty much all these machines on this wall, the blue one that I mentioned over there, and obviously the welders. All right, so I'm gonna try to set this up as best I can. I know we have that video set up next door, but it's kind of hard to get that over here. Let me see if this is decent enough. Actually, I'm gonna put this. Let me get this chair here. Give me 1 minute to get this set up, guys. Put this right here. All right, a couple things when you're first starting. So guys, why don't you turn your cameras on so I know you're paying attention to this and you can see the gauges. So the first things you want to know is the green tank is oxygen. The red tank is acetylene. That's the one that's flammable. Okay, so the red tank is the flammable one. That's what we're going to first light, and then we kind of fine tune it, our flame with the oxygen. There's several valves. You have the tank valve. Actually, I'm going to put my glasses on here. Each valve or each tank has a valve like a shutoff right here. This is the oxygen one, where you're like just like at home with the propane tank. If you were lighting a gas grill at home, you would turn it on and off with your valve right here. So right now it's obviously closed. There's also an acetylene one down here as well. These two regulators here, you have this red and green one. That controls how much pressure goes to your torch. All right, right here. Let me move this out of the way. So you have the torch. You know, each tank has hundreds, if not thousands, of PSI in it. You know, you think about your car tire, there's maybe 30 PSI in it. So when you turn this on, we need to regulate it. We don't want, 100 PSI coming out of this torch. You're going to have a crazy, ridiculous flame. So that's what we regulate down. And you want both of these regulators set to about 3 to 5 PSI. Okay, for those of you that come in too, I have a cheat sheet in the classroom. I'll give it to you. It kind of walks you through how to do it. But you want to have both tanks set to about 3 to 5 PSI after you turn them on. Okay, so first thing you want to do, we're going to start with oxygen. This tank needs to be opened all the way. Notice how I'm keep turning it until it's opened all the way, much like you would your propane tank at home if you're using a grill. Okay, so that's open all the way. I turned that quite a bit. Okay, so now what I want to do is set it to 3 to 5 PSI. You can see, I mean, we're at almost 100 PSI. If you're looking at this gauge right here, that's how much is in the tank. That's quite a bit, actually more than that. It's up over 1,000. The inner gauge is the PSI. So we don't want that much coming through our torch. We want to regulate it down. And that's what we're going to do with this one here, the green one. So at first I turned it on. This has an on and off. You know, the green is oxygen, red is acetylene. So first I'm going to turn on the oxygen. And I'm going to see where I'm at. Let's see where we're at here. We are at probably 12 PSI. So that's 50, 100, 50, 100, 150. 10 would be right there. So right now I'm reading about 12 PSI. So I need to turn that down. So minus. You know, I went down a little bit. I want to be about, so now I'm at about 10. Now I'm under 10. You can hear it getting lower. I'd say it's about 3 to 5 right there. Okay, so once you have it set to 3 to 5, now I'm going to close my oxygen. Close it. All right, now this is set to 3 to 5. I'll show you the gauges here when I have them all set. So oxygen is done. Now we have to do acetylene. For acetylene, you don't want to open it up all the way. This one here, we opened up quite a bit. Like I turned it a lot. This one down here, just a little bit, like a quarter turn. Watch this. I'm just going to go like, that's it. You see that? And it came right on. Yep. That's it. I mean, I turned at a half at most. Same thing. Right now we're reading, let's see. In the tank, I'm about 150 PSI in the tank. The torch, it's about 7. So it's a little high. We want to go down to about 3 to 5. So same thing. I need to first turn it on. Now this time I'm going to turn the red one on. That's my acetylene. I turn it on. I got to look at my red one now. Let's see. Actually, it's about 3. See that? We're at about 3 PSI. So maybe we could bump it up just a little bit. Oh, actually, this way. Now we're between 3. We're at about 4. That's good. I'm going to turn it off. Actually, maybe down just a little bit. Okay. All right. So now I'll show you guys. I'm just class over. We got some time here. So. All right. So now I'm ready to turn this on or to light it. So I'm reading about, again, I don't know how well you'll be able to see those gauges, but I'll try to do my best here. right here. That one is about 5 psi. This one here is actually easier to read. See, I'm between 3 and 6. So right there, that is between 3 and 6, which is good because I want to be around 5. Or between 3 and 5. Now to light it, use one of these, the little striker. Who can tell me to light it though? What should I have turned on now to light it? The oxygen, the acetylene, or both?
Oxygen.
Anybody else? That was a good guess. I don't want the oxygen on right now.
I mean acetylene, sorry.
Yeah, the acetylene is what's flammable. So we want the acetylene on, the acetylene only on. Okay? To light it. And then once I have it, I light it, I kind of fine tune. I'll show you. If it's too low, you're going to get some black soot. You don't want the black soot. If it's too high, it's going to be kind of loud. And what I mean by low and high is how much you have these open. The tanks are set, they're good, but you could have this all the way open or barely open. You don't want a lot of soot, and you want a flame that's not super loud. You want a straight 1-inch flame, and then it'll start to feather out. And I'll show you as best I can here. All right, so first, let's turn these on. All right, so I'm gonna use the striker. Some of you probably use these in chemistry. Just kind of squeeze it and it lights. Yeah, 1 inch. You'll see what I mean in a second. It's 1 inch of a straight flame, and then it's gonna be longer than 1 inch. It's gonna be like a 1 inch straight flame. Then it's gonna feather out. It's gonna probably be more like 6-7 inches total. You'll see. So you're looking for a 1 inch straight from the tip of this out 1 inch, which is straight, and then it like feathers out like a bird feather. Okay, so I'm turning my acetylene on a little bit. And again, you want to do small adjustments, guys. Like don't like crank it all the way up right at the start. Just turn it on maybe a quarter to a half a turn. So here I go to the left. That's it. I'm gonna light it. Oh, always point it away. Watch, for other people. So when I first had that lit, it was a little bit too high. So I turned it down, but now I turned it down a little bit too much. You can kind of see that black soot. That's too much or too low. So now I need to turn it back up a little bit more to the left on my. All right, so that's not bad, but you can see here that it's more than 1 inch before it feathers out. That's not bad. That's about 1 inch. So you see what I'm talking about, guys? It's roughly about 1 inch of a straight flame, then it starts to feather out. All right, you see that? That's what you're looking. See, it's not super loud. If anything, maybe I could go just a little bit. That's probably perfect right there. So I have 1 inch, and then it starts to feather out. Once you have it to this point, you're ready to add in the oxygen. For the oxygen, you're looking for a little blue cone, like about a quarter of 1 inch. I'll try to show it to you as best I can. It's a little blue cone. So slowly bring in the oxygen. Again, just a little bit. See, there's that blue. That's too big, so I'm going to keep increasing it. You can kind of see the blue cone. Right now, that blue cone is probably about 2-3 inches long. I'm going to keep increasing it. Now I'm at about 1 inch for that blue cone. You see it? Yeah. That little blue cone. So I got the longer flame, but I'm more concerned about that blue cone right there. So a little bit more, I'm about 1 inch, maybe 3/4. I'm going to keep going. That's what I'm looking for right there. So you have roughly a quarter of 1 inch. That's the hottest part of your flame right there, is that blue part of that tip of that little cone. So I don't know if you guys can see that. Try to do as best I can. So I have a flame. The flame is probably about 6 to 8 inches long, but the really hot part is going to be that little tiny cone. So once you get it to that point, you're good. Let's see. All right. Now, tomorrow, I'll show you how to start actually welding some metal and stuff, but I just wanted to show you to get to that point. Another important step is going to be turning all this off and bleeding out the line. So that's what I want to show you guys next, all right? So now I want to turn it off. Say I was doing some welding, whatever, I'm done for the day. So now I'm going to turn these off to the right. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So I turn it to the right, turn it to the right. Okay, now both of them are off. I turn them both to the right. Now, we don't want to just hang this up and we're done for the day. Because, you know, what if this tank isn't being used? Who knows when this tank's going to be used again, right? The next day, next period, whatever. We still have, even though I turned it off, I still have gas in these lines. There's still gas between here and the line. So I need to bleed it all out. Like if you look at these gauges, there's pressure still in there. We don't want that. We want it to be zero. All right. So first thing I want to do is turn the tanks off. Just like if I was using a propane grill, I would turn it off. So this one, I need to turn it all the way off, the oxygen. And that one I had to turn quite a bit. Acetylene, that one was just a little bit, like a half a turn. Okay, so now both tanks are off, but I still have some gas in the line, so I want to bleed them out. When I do that, you'll notice that these gauges will go down to zero. So to do that, you just open them up now. So I'll open up acetylene first. Did it go down to zero? Yep, so that one's down to zero. Close it. Oxygen is next. Open it. Oxygen is down to zero now. Close it. So now we have no more gas in the lines. And then when I'm done, I just kind of like hang it up. You know, be careful if you were welding a lot. You know, the tip is going to be hot. Don't try not to touch it against the lines, just because it could, you know, it could screw them up a little bit. That's it. You know, put your striker on there, and you'll notice now when you're done for the day, that's at zero. And then this one here is also at zero. Okay. All right, guys. So today you learned how to basically light these torches, turn them on, turn them off safely. For those of you that are coming in, we'll work with that. And then, like I said, those of you guys at home will be doing that virtual welding.